Hi guys, right. Always mess around trying to get the camera at the right angle. So I'm just at home. My name's Louis. Nice to meet you all. Thanks for watching. I appreciate all your support. I'm having a butter coffee. So I make my coffee with butter and I'm on a diet, and that butter coffee stops me from having hunger cravings. And I mainly am a meat, eggs, and fish eater. I don't eat sugar or bread, hardly any carbs, and this has kept my health good. But this isn't why I'm making this video or this live stream. So I'll just quickly show you on here. I've started making a video. Let's see if I can get it on big screen. Let's have a look. On Elvis's movies. I've been doing some research. So not including the documentaries, he made 31 movies. I'll just see if it comes up here. I'm just going to quickly show you this. There we are. Look, that is scrolling through. The dog. Well, that tells me the postman's here. Come on, it's okay. Let me just. Come on, it's the postman here. Come and sit here. Come on. Come on. Oh, she's not coming. Come on. Look here, look, meat. Oh, I got some meat for you. Here. Come here. Come on, up here. Come on. Don't be shy. You're not naughty because you're barking. Right, hold on. Come here. Look at her. She's going for that meat. Come here then. Come sit here with me. Come on. Good girl. This is Ella. She is 8 years old. You want to get on my lap? Come on. Look at her. She really wants that meat. Come on. There you go. You don't have to bark. Right, we're doing a live Elvis video. Good girl. She's a Jack Russell, and her mother is upstairs asleep, and her mother is 14. Anyway, so as I was saying, I've been doing a video on Elvis movies, and I was gonna do a talk over on a very long clip I found of Live a Little, Love a Little, which was done in 1968. And he made 3 more movies after that before he ended his movie career. But obviously we know he did the documentary ones as well. So, or the sort of fly on the wall ones as well. But let me just quickly just show you the thing I found. Look, this shows you the 31 films. I'm not sure how well this is showing. And the reason I loved the Live a Little, Love a Little clip I found on YouTube is because I restore Volkswagen Beetles and air-cooled cars from the 60s and 70s. So like the split screens, the bay windows, and with air-cooled engines that I also build. So seeing Elvis in a beach buggy, in an orange beach buggy, there's just a picture, but I got a little video of it. Seeing Elvis in a beach buggy, I really relate to it because it's my hobby. My hobby is restoring these vehicles. And so I thought, I'm going to do a talk over on that. So then what that led to was me thinking, I need to look into, do a bit more research and talk about the Elvis movies much more, because it's actually quite a hot topic. People's views on Elvis Presley, on how good he was as an actor, what he could have achieved, what his potential was. Also, the views on Colonel Tom Parker, stopping him from making certain movies. So because of it, he never reached his true potential. But you've also got plenty of people that just say, no, Elvis was a natural born singer, and with his personality and his charisma and the way he danced, the way he moved, and obviously his voice. And that's what he was meant to be. And the acting wasn't his thing, which I actually don't agree. But because I think Elvis, if he had accepted the right roles and made the right films, could have been a massive actor. Massive. He had so many amazing offers that were made to him that we don't even know about. This is like people are talking about it now or in interviews over the last 20, 30 years of like Midnight Cowboy, for example. And I know that Elvis in the 50s really looked up to obviously the icons of that decade. So like James Dean and Marlon Brando and many more. Obviously, he loved his Western films as well. And he loved going to the Memphian cinema and hiring it out. But you guys all know this. So everyone knows the story of A Star Is Born, and Barbra Streisand sought him out to try and have a chat with him backstage to convince him to take on this movie role, which unfortunately he never did, and it was blamed on Colonel Tom Parker. But ultimately, I would always say that ultimately it was Elvis's choice to not do many of these roles that were offered to him. I heard a rumor that he was even offered West Side Story. Could you imagine Elvis doing West Side Story and how that would have changed his life? So there's so many great roles that they're saying that he was offered that he never did, that of course would have turned him into this credible, respected actor playing these dramatic roles. And it's such a missed opportunity, because I really do think Elvis had the talent and the drive, because Elvis really did want to be a great actor. And this is very clear in early interviews and even later interviews, that it was just a missed opportunity. And I use the word opportunity loosely because he was given opportunities to make these amazing films. And whatever the circumstances, he never took them. And there must be some self-blame. I don't agree that we have to just keep blaming Colonel Tom Parker. And I'm not a massive Colonel Tom Parker fan, far from it. I see Colonel Tom Parker's good points and bad points. I think he was very good for Elvis in the 50s, very good. I think he turned Elvis from being a local, sort of a local famous person that was doing very well in and around where he lived, and in that part of America, into a world-class person. And you know, Colonel Tom Parker definitely boosted his career from this to this. But I will say this: I think anyone that managed Elvis were going to do that because he was too talented, and I think he was going to become super famous, whoever the manager was. But Colonel Tom Parker did do that, so I have to give him that credit. So anyway, so I'm looking at the movies. I'm just going to have a drink of my coffee. And I've always said King Creole was my favorite film, because I think that shows him in many different lights. It is a bit of a James Dean type role. I just love the storyline. I think the acting's brilliant. He looks great. You can see he takes it seriously. So what I'm going to do, I thought in this video, we could just go through the 31 films quickly, and let's just find it, see if I can find the clip. And you just tell me, what was your favorite? Which of the films that you just didn't like? And a really big thing for me is, when did you watch these films? Because the reason I watched them, I was probably 8, 9, 10, 11, those sort of ages. And for me, I didn't really watch many of these films until the mid-70s, maybe early 70s a bit. I'm 57 in a few months, so I might be younger than some of you dedicated Elvis fans that were around, but not much younger, I don't think. I think a lot of you are in your late 50s, 60s, and 70s, and even 80s. I get a lot of messages from people in their 70s and that were lucky enough to be really around when Elvis was properly in his peak in the 50s and 60s. So what I'm going to do is, so what I was saying was, when did you watch the movies? Did you go to the cinemas and watch them? Did you wait until they started being released on TV and discover them as a young child, which is what happened to me? And me and my twin brother, we absolutely loved the Elvis films, even the cheesy ones, the corny ones. we loved them because they jumped out of the screen. And Elvis was so magnetic. You just wanted to watch him and look at him. And these films that were made, many of them in the 60s, were very child friendly because they had an appeal that was for a family. It wasn't just for mum and dad, it was the kids as well. And I personally think Elvis really came across well, and you really wanted to relate to him. Now, as a 10-year-old child, was I looking at the films, trying to critique them to see if they were credible, dramatic roles? No, definitely not. I was just being entertained because they were very colourful, and there was singing and dancing, and there was fun scripts. Obviously, the sets were amazing, and the storylines from a point of view of a kid were spot on. So they were, in some ways, they were children films in some ways. But I think if you were a teenager or in your early 20s and you were dating, they were the perfect film to take your girlfriend to and sit there with, and you're on a date, getting to know your girlfriend and boyfriend, So to you ladies out there, to go on a date with your boyfriend, and you would go to the cinemas and watch these films, and they were coming out fast and regularly, and they were perfect for things like that. So I personally loved the Elvis films, but now or should I say, when I became in my 20s, 30s, 40s, etc., I could then see the good films, see the bad films, could see that his talent was being wasted. You can almost see that in some of the films he's just fed up and he's just playing a role just to get the money in, and just because he signed these contracts. And then I do think eventually he had so many outgoings financially. He literally had to do these films. No, that's not true. He didn't have to do them. He felt that he had to do them because so much money was coming out. But actually, as soon as he took a different direction, when he did the 68 comeback, and in 1968, he made three films. He made 3 films a year, I think, from 62 to 69. I think there was a few years previous to that where he made 2 films a year. And I'm going to go through that in a second. So I do feel Elvis was pressured to make a lot of these films because there was too much money being spent, and he had to do these film roles to get the bills paid. I really believe that. So he was carrying a lot of people, friends and family and staff and distant relatives. He really was carrying a lot of people, and he was so generous. We all know that he gave away half his fortune, and he gave away a fortune to charity every year. So the money had to keep coming in, and I think for Elvis it was a quick fix, and for the Colonel. So I'm going to find this clip that shows the movies, and I'm just going to go through them from the beginning. So let me see if I can pause it. I actually found it quite interesting because it listed all the films. Let me see if I can pause it. Pause. There we go. Okay, right. I think I found it. Right, let's have a look. Right, here we go. So I've got it on my CapCut, which is how you can make videos, and I can just, you can't really see it. I can just scroll through it, and this will let me go through the films with you. So, starting from the beginning, I don't want this video to be too boring, but I've got a morning off because my wife is at work, the kids are at school. So I thought I'd spend some time and do a live feed for you guys. So I hope you don't mind. So the very first movie, and I'm also going to tell you how many movies he made a year from the beginning to 1969. So the first one, Love Me Tender, let's see if I can zoom in on it. Love Me Tender, 1956. I'll just show you on my phone. So obviously the phone isn't very clear, but we've all watched this. Now, I'm just going to give you my opinion on the ones that I have seen. There's many that I haven't seen. And if you're out there and you want to say hello, give us hello. So I'm going to say hello to anyone. I know a lot of you in America are sorry, a lot of you around the world are asleep, and I'm in the UK, and at the moment in the UK, it's about 10 a.m. and it's actually a reasonably nice day today looking around. But if you're going to wake up and watch this, good morning to you when you wake up. So, right, let's go. So now that I'll be honest with you, Love Me Tender wasn't one of my, I didn't enjoy it. I wasn't mad about the storyline, and he looked amazing, and you can tell that he really, really tried his hardest to act really well. I would say he overacted in Love Me Tender. Did you guys like Love Me Tender? So 1956. So the thing I'm trying to get here is, where we go? Right, let's go back. The thing I'm trying to get here is how many films he was making a year. Because let's go back. Because it really is. Even I only found out today when going through this that, let me just get to the year where he starts making 3 a year. Actually, I'll go through it now with you. So Loving You, which actually you can watch free on YouTube. Let's just see if I can zoom that in. I actually quite like Loving You. And if you want to watch it completely for free, just go on YouTube. It's on there, and it's actually really good. He looks amazing in it. The songs are good in it, and his acting's quite good. There's some very good fight scenes. I know you've all seen this, guys, before, but I'm just going to show you anyway. And I really liked Loving You. It was definitely one of my favorites. I watch it with my kids quite a lot because it's free on YouTube. It's nice and easy. Okay, so let's go through them. So, so I'm always also trying to say to you guys, where are we? I don't know, I've got to find it again now. Let's upload it. Right. So, here we go. Right. So, Loving You. Sorry, guys. Oh, no. Loving You, I think was good. That was 1957. So then we go on to Jailhouse Rock, which is one of my favorite. I love the storyline. He looks great. The acting rolls, the storyline is, I think, really good. And I think this is where his co-star, I don't have a name right now. I could look it up, but I'm pretty sure her and her husband died in a car crash. Am I right? I could look that up. King Creole. No, not. Oh, sorry. Yeah, King Creole. No, not King Creole. Wake up, Louis. Come on. Right, let me get it again. Jailhouse Rock. Right, so let's look her up. Now, you tell me if I'm right. I'll get the Jailhouse Rock. Let's go. Right, okay, let's get. Right, so we need to find the. You're going to be like, you should know this, Louis. Yeah, I should know it. Right. Jailhouse Rock. Right. Cast. Here we go. Judy Tyler. I think she died in a car crash. Let me just. I hope I'm not wrong. Judy Tyler. Let me just have a look. I thought she was really good in this film. Let's have a look. Yeah, so yes, there we are. Judy Tyler dies as cars collide. Actress and husband killed by crash in Wyoming. Was on Howdy Doody. Right, let's have a look. If I click on her. So she died July 3rd, 1957. That is so sad, isn't it? Could you imagine how upsetting that was, obviously for her family, but for Elvis, that he'd spent all that time making that film with Judy, and then very soon after, that's just so sad. Let me have a look. A few days after filming Jailhouse Rock, Tyler and her second husband, Gregory Lafayette, began driving home to New York from Hollywood. While driving from Wyoming on the 3rd of July 1957, they were involved in an automobile accident. It says on US Route 287 near Rock River. Tyler was killed instantly, aged 24. 24! That's so sad. And Lafayette died the next day, aged 19. That's so sad. So the Casper Morning Star reported the passenger killed in the oncoming car driven by Paul Reed was Don D. Jones, 23, of Hannah, Wyoming. Police said Lafayette swerved to avoid hitting a car that was towing a trailer and collided with other vehicles involved in the crash, reported Ted Smith in the Commercial Appeal. I find that quite upsetting, to be honest with you guys. Anyway, let's go back to the movies. So then we have King Creole, which is just fantastic. Just a brilliant film. And should we have a look at that? Should we look that up? Let's have a look. King Creole. Let's have a look. So I thought Walter Matthau was amazing in King Creole. Really, really good. He really pulled it off. And then you got Carolyn Jones. She was great in it. It's just a picture of the cast here. Yeah. And it was, I watch it over and over again. I just love it. And Vic Morrow was very believable. I think he was the gang leader, wasn't he? And Dolores Hart, who was a stunning beauty. And there's a whole video in that, because obviously she got it. You know, let me just say a picture of her. That's how she looks now. There's a big story with her. I'd like to do a whole video about. She literally completely turned her back on her fame and her acting career. And basically got married to her faith, Christianity, didn't she? So I'm just looking at the different faces in that film. Paul Stewart, yeah. And they just, all of them, did amazingly well in that film. It was so well put together, that film. And I know it's black and white, but brilliant. Just brilliant. It makes me want to watch it now, actually. So, and that was 1958. So you've all seen this, but I'm going to show you anyway, guys. Okay, let's keep going. So we're going back to the movies. So then we've got GI Blues, 1960, and he made this. This was his first film after coming out of the army. Obviously, it was quite a big deal, him coming out, and Nancy Sinatra met him as well. And he had done that. He comes out, he does the Frank Sinatra special, which is obviously we all know about. We've all watched loads of times. And Frank Sinatra had a bit of a reputation of being a bit anti-Elvis and thought that rock and roll was a bad influence. But I think once Frank Sinatra met Elvis at the special, and obviously his daughter, Frank Sinatra realized that Elvis was just a decent guy, a Christian man with very good morals, and who took life seriously and was just very respectful and well-mannered and friendly. And Frank Sinatra actually grew to love Elvis. And I know there was issues with, is it Juliet Prowse? Because Frank Sinatra had been seeing her and Elvis was seeing Juliet Prowse as well. But I actually thought it was a really good coming out film, because obviously Elvis had been in the army, 1960. And I like GI Blues. I thought it was really good. It obviously wasn't a serious acting, dramatic role, but I just think it was a great film to boost Elvis after being in the army for nearly 2 years. and he looks amazing in it. And it's a fun film, and definitely a great film to go on a date with, and a great film as a kid. So then we've got Flaming Star, which is 1960. I'll be honest with you, I didn't like it. Wild in the Country, I didn't like it. So Flaming Star was 1960. Wild in the Country was 1961. So I'm going to start looking here how many films he made in each year. So Jailhouse Rock, just one film in 57. King Creole, just one film in 58. Then in 1960, he makes two films, GI Blues and Flaming Star. So he's I think at this point, he's moved on to two films a year. So we've got Wild in the Country, which I don't think I've watched. I can't critique that. Blue Hawaii, I did like Blue Hawaii as a 10, 11-year-old. It's very commercial. I think it was one of the most successful one of his films in 61. So in 61, he made two films, Wild in the Country and Blue Hawaii. Then we've got Follow That Dream. Don't forget, a lot of these films had quite good songs in them. I did like a lot of the songs in the movies. I did. They were very catchy and very memorable. And he looked, obviously, the way he dances and moves, he just looked brilliant. So 62, Follow That Dream, and Kid Galahad. Oh no, and Girls, Girls, Girls. Girls, Girls, Girls. For a kid, I liked it. So he actually made, so I think this is the beginning of Elvis making 3 movies a year, which I personally think is way too much. 3 movies a year. Just too much. And how did he do it? No wonder he was so overworked. And I do think through the 60s, Elvis had medical problems. We know about the prescribed medication, but I actually think Elvis had some problems, health problems through the 60s, and he hid it well. And he's making 3 movies a year. I just think that's so much, so overworked. And I think initially, from the interviews I've watched from the Memphis Mafia and his co-stars, is that actually in the early years of making these very commercial films, and he was obviously getting paid £1 million a movie, he really enjoyed making these films, and he loved being on set and all the different locations, and he would mess around and have fun with the co-stars, obviously some relationships, and the Memphis Mafia even would join in, and they were put in as extras in the movies as well sometimes. So in 62, he's still loving it. It happened at the World's Fair. I'm pretty sure that's the one where Kurt Russell kicks him in the shin. I liked that film. Fun in Acapulco. I like that. Kissing Cousins, I thought was a bit I didn't like it. Thought it was I don't know, it just didn't work for me. But let's have a look at again the year. So 1963, he made 2 movies. It Happened at the World's Fair and Fun in Acapulco. So let's go on to, you tell me which of these movies you like, guys. So we're on to 64 now. He's back to 3 movies. Kissing Cousins, didn't like it. Viva Las Vegas, I liked it. Roustabout is one of my favorite. I really like Roustabout. And just off memory, he's accused of stealing one of the characters' father's wallet. Just a great film. Now, I think this is the standout memory is when he's on his motorcycle and he's going round and round at the fair thing, and he falls off. So great film. So yeah, in 64, let's have a look. Kissing Cousins, Viva Las Vegas, Roustabout. So he made 3 films in that year. Then you've got 65, Girl Happy, didn't like it. Tickle Me, didn't like it. Harum Saxkarum, didn't like it. A lot of these films just weren't for me. So let's just have a look how many he made. So in 65, 3 films. No? Yes, 3 films. Tickle Me, Harum Scarum, Happy Girl. Right, so now we're in 66. Frankie and Johnny. Sorry, not one for me. And let's have a look. Paradise, Hawaii. Oh, I'm not sure if I remember that one. Spin Out isn't Spin Out the one where Nancy Sinatra's in it? And I can't. You need to put me right, guys. Tell me. I know that there was the Incredible Hulk actor Bill Bixby did a couple of films with him, and I think one was Speedway. I'm jumping ahead here. Yeah, Speedway was 1968, and I think Clambake, wasn't he in both of them? I'm not 100% sure. So Double Trouble. So 67, he makes. Let's have a look. In 67, he makes 3 films: Easy Come, Easy Go, which I don't know that one. Double Trouble, I remember that one, and Clambake, which I really liked. So 66, have I already said this? Yeah, Frankie and Johnny, Paradise Hawaii, and Spin Out in 66. So he's still doing the 3 movies a year. So 67, I've just said it: Easy Come, Easy Go, Double Trouble, and Clambake. So I liked Clambake. I think I remember. Speedway was watchable, I thought. Stay Away Joe, didn't like it. This is 68. So in 68, he makes 3 films. And so this one is the video I'm going to post today. Just him driving his beach buggy, purely because I'm into air-cooled vehicles. So I'll do a talk over on that. Probably saying similar stuff on that video, what I'm saying to you guys now. So 68, Stay Away Joe, Speedway, 68, Live a Little, Love a Little. And he does look great in those films, but I don't rate them. I'm sorry. I think Speedway was watchable. Speedway. So we're now in 68. Let's have a look. Let me just, actually, no, we're in 69. He actually made 3 films in 1969. And just think, that was during and after the 68 comeback special. So I think, obviously, we know that how it was a massive success, the comeback special, the 68 comeback special. It's a complicated story. I think If I Can Dream is his best song. I believe that If I Can Dream from the 68 special really shows how amazing he was and the talent he truly had. I think I can't explain it. It's an almost out of body experience watching him perform in his white suit on the 68 special. And then you've got the clips you can find on YouTube of him rehearsing the 68 comeback special, especially that song, If I Can Dream. And obviously there's a complex story behind that to do with Kennedy being killed, which really affected Elvis. So in 69, Sharrow didn't like it. The Trouble with Girls was funny, and Change of Habit didn't like it. So he's obviously at this point just doing it for the money. And then this then leads on to the whole idea of Elvis going into Vegas. And a lot of people credit that to Colonel Tom Parker. I don't know if that's true. And obviously he had a whole new fly on the wall type documentary type films, which I've heard was Elvis's idea. And they were a big hit. They were a big hit, weren't they? Him behind the scenes, practicing with like the Sweet Temptations and the backing singers and his band. Just amazing. And this in the Elvis movie, this is shown, isn't it? How he would rehearse and how he had the full orchestra, etc. And I think from making the 68 comeback special and doing those early movies, behind the scenes movies, he went through a very good phase. Because I know that when he did his comeback in Vegas, which he was, terrified of, just like the 68 comeback, he was terrified of that comeback. And he almost never went on stage on the 68 comeback because he was so insecure and paranoid and had lost a lot of his self-belief. This super talented, beautiful man didn't know if he would be accepted again, didn't know if they would love him in the same way, didn't know if they would think he was a credible artist. And he was so wrong because, look, come on, nearly 50 years have passed and we're all talking about Elvis as if was around yesterday. I would say in some ways he's more famous now than even in the 50s. And the reason I say that is because he's everywhere. He's just everywhere. Even a lot of the things my kids watch have got Elvis in it. Like, it's just phenomenal, amazing. I'm so proud to be an Elvis fan. So I know that bit was a bit boring, but 31 movies. Unfortunately, the movie career just didn't work out for him. And yes, he was paid an absolute fortune. I think he even, on some of the movies, he was even getting 50% royalties. And that is just unheard of. So I would say this. The world without Elvis movies would be a different place. I still think there is a place for Elvis movies, and they're still very loved. And for me as an Elvis fan, if I want to see Elvis looking his best, his healthiest, I just watch an Elvis movie and it takes me back in time. It lets me see Elvis in good times when he just was full of life and he was very ambitious. And he loved singing and dancing, and he kept himself in amazing condition. He just looked brilliant. So I'm so glad Elvis made these movies, even if many of them are just not good. And I think you guys out there, you fans, probably feel the same way, that, you know, you miss Elvis, put one of his movies on. So I'm just truly grateful that these movies happen, no matter what the truth is about how good they are. So I think that's it, guys. Please let me know how you watch the movies, where you watch them, what year you watched them, how they affected your life. And I'm really interested in how you see them. From me, as a kid growing up in the 70s, they were very inspirational to me. And Elvis transformed my life because I would watch Elvis in these movies. And as a shy boy with no confidence, with a very strict father, I would look at these movies and I would go to the mirror and I'd start brushing my hair like Elvis. I'd start acting like Elvis and being funny and charming and charismatic like Elvis. And I think ultimately this boosted my life to go into business, to become a DJ, because I was a DJ for 26 years, as well as running my businesses. I personally think, coming from the childhood I had in the 70s, which was tough at times because I had a very strict father, Elvis lifted me out of a difficult time in the 70s and boosted me. And I have had a magnificent, very successful life that I'm so proud of. And I think Elvis probably is the reason, because when I was lost as a child and felt, how can I say it, with no self-belief, no confidence, and no one giving me any confidence and no one boosting me, and I was looking for a way out of this tough childhood I was having, Elvis was the answer, because Elvis showed me you can be outgoing, lively, confident, look good, dress good, take more care of my hair, be funny, be outgoing, and love life and live life to the full. And I thank Elvis for that. And this is the basis of why I run this channel, because Elvis, without knowing it, and I think he's done this for millions of people, transformed my life and changed my life for the better. And I owe Elvis. So when I make these videos, I make them thanking Elvis and appreciating Elvis. And I'm telling you now, I have learned so much about Elvis in the last year. He really, really was a one-off, amazing, decent person through and through. Elvis was. He was magnificent. And people just see the bad stuff. So the overeating, the overprescribed medication, the unfaithfulness and the womanizing. But that is 1% of Elvis. 99% of Elvis is all about being generous. He didn't like the fact that he had all this money. He felt guilty about it and just wanted to give it all away and help everyone. Now, how many people would do that? How many people become successful and famous and have loads of money and just give it all away. I would say almost none. He was a true Christian, genuine, well brought up, decent person that just wanted to spread good and help everyone in so many ways, not just for charity, but also for friends and family and complete strangers. The more and more I dig, obviously Elvis had many illnesses. Elvis even went through many years of being very unwell, and we just didn't know about it because it was all kept hush-hush that he was very unwell, which is why he was into these very strong prescribed medication. But yes, it all lost its way in the mid-70s, and Elvis he couldn't handle the pressure and the strain. And I've just got hello. Right, sorry, Mr. Garlic Man. All right, yeah, you spoke to me already. Right, let me just read your message. I hope you're well. What is your name, Mr. Garlic Man? How are you doing? I'm doing great. I'm having a coffee, making a video about Elvis, which is my favorite subject. And the kids are at school. And my wife's at work, so I'm in heaven. Right, so I am good. I am the person who you ascribe to, that Elvis Presley is my 8th cousin. Yes, it is true. I really am related to Elvis Presley. And yeah, he really is my 8th cousin. And I can see you're so proud of that. And I believe you. Trust me, Mr. Garlic Man. What is your name? I'm Louis, by the way, and I'm going to turn 57. I'm in Southwest UK by Bristol. Yes, I did subscribe to you because when I clicked on your name, there was a lot of really good Elvis videos linked to your channel, and I thought, I don't know why that happened. I don't know if you've done that, created a playlist, and I really liked all the Elvis things that were linked to Mr. Garlic Man. So, and also, why are you called Mr. Garlic Man? Right, I'm just gonna top my coffee up, and I'm gonna come back. So I'm gonna leave you for about 30 seconds. Right. I'm going to put my coffee in there. I'm going to reboil the kettle. Let's pour that. I'm just going to check that my other dog is okay. Right, let's grab me coffee. Sorry about that. Okay. Just what I needed. Nice coffee. Right. Let's just see if you've replied. My name is Michael. Nice to meet you, Michael. Nice to meet you. So look. I am 39. I just turned 39 years old, April the 14th. So you're an Aries, is that right? And are you English, Michael? Because my parents are from Cyprus, so Michael's a very common Greek Cypriot name. Both my parents were born in Cyprus, but I grew up in England, and I was born in England in a small seaside town called Weston-super-Mare. And nice to meet you as well. I love garlic, so that is why I picked the name Mr. Garlic Man. I think it's a really good name, and I love garlic as well. I do like garlic in my curries and in my spaghettis and in my lasagnas. I think it transforms them. So just so you know, I am a retired businessman. I ran bars and nightclubs and restaurants for many years, all along the seafront of Weston-super-Mare. And when I semi-retired about 10 years ago, and I got into restoring classic cars, which is why today's video that I'm going to post is about Elvis in Love a Little, Live a Little, because in that film he's driving an air-cooled beach buggy, which is basically made from a VW Beetle with an air-cooled engine in it. And so that is my other hobby. And then I also have a thing I have a diet channel where I've got a diet that helps people get better, lose weight, and by mainly eating meat, eggs, and fish, and fatty meat, and drinking water and using butter to cook their food, and having salt in, and stopping eating all sugars, and reducing the amount of carbs they eat, and stopping eating all the bad foods, ultra processed foods. And that's my other little hobby as well. So I've got a few hobbies that keep me busy. So you are an Aries. Yeah, my best friend was an Aries. They're quite fiery, quite hot-tempered, passionate people. Is that you as well? So, right, half Native American Cherokee Indian and half German. That's a very interesting mix. But Elvis had American Cherokee in him as well, and that's probably why part of the link why you're related. You live in the United States of America, and I live in the state of Illinois. Wow, I want to go to America. I want to go Graceland. So I'm in Southwest UK. I'm near Bristol. So Tom Jones lived 25 minutes from where I live, and Cary Grant lives 20 minutes as a child from where I live. I'm in a very nice part of England. We don't have the best weather. We've had quite a bad winter. But today, my plan today, because I'm doing some building works at the moment in some properties. I've got some builders working there for me, so I'm going to pop down there and see them today at some point. But I do try and make the most of this time when the kids are at school, because I've got 6 kids. When the kids are at school and my wife's at work, my wife's a school teacher. I make the most of it. Quickly do a live. I'll probably do a live on my diet channel as well, and have a coffee. And then what I'll do, I'll exercise, and I might do a little run today because I do like exercising. So that's it, really. So anyway, going back onto the Elvis thing, and that is overall, please just let me know, guys, how the Elvis movies affected you. If you liked them, didn't like them, what were your favorites when you watched them? I said all this already. I'm gonna go now because I've been on for nearly an hour, which I think you must be completely bored of me by now. So sending you all love. Thanks, Michael. Nice to meet you. And I hope you enjoy my channel, Michael. And I know I'm going to speak to you again very soon. So peace out to you. All the best to you, and have a great day. I hope you got some good weather there in Illinois. I'm going to give you a wave as I go. Thanks, everyone. Okay.